Hello and welcome to Redmen TV. I am joined in the studio the day after Chelsea have knocked Liverpool out of the League Cup by Louis Beneventi from 100%Chelsea. Louis, I'd say thanks for joining me, but I'd be lying. I didn't really want to speak to you today, to be honest, but to be fair, we've been in each other's company for 20 minutes now. You've not mentioned last night's results. We'll continue that vein as much as we can.
To be honest, it was you who mentioned it first. It wasn't me.
No. Damn. Okay. It's a preview show, so we always like to look forwards on preview shows, Louis. We don't want to look back. We don't want to look into the past. We don't want to look at our history. We're looking forwards as Liverpool fans nowadays. Yeah, we're doing that.
Okay.
No, listen. Thanks for joining me. It was a difficult game last night. Two sides, two good sides, but clearly not at their strongest, going toe-to-toe in the Carabao Cup. It will be a completely different game of football at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. So, what are the changes do you expect to see from Chelsea?
Well, the three players that came on last night, Luiz, Kante and Hazard, all of them will start at the weekend. You can see already that when they came on, it offered us a completely different dimension of play. I think that's what is going to be the biggest change. But I think, like you said, you can't really compare the two. I think that, the side we put out last night was solid. It was okay. It was good. That is a top 6 team. But when you add in the players that we have, for example, Jorginho has been a revelation this season. Pedro, if he is fit after obviously sustaining injuries against PAOK in the Europa League, and he starts, he offers another dimension of play. With the possession style of football. So, I think the biggest difference you're going to see it will be Jorginho though. I think Fabregas but with legs. Basically, when he was in his prime, that season when he joined us, and he was just spraying passes. The difference between him and Jorginho is Jorginho just does that a hell of a lot quicker. And if he does get caught out, he finds space in very, very small areas. Basically, he gets two men on him. He looks up, distributes straight away. It's 1 or 2 touch passes. And with him, we've just seen him help Maurizio Sarri sort of develop his football at Chelsea already. He's brought him in to accelerate it, and we're already seeing us reap the rewards of that. Obviously, we're still undefeated, as you are. We have dropped points.
Not anymore.
You haven't. We are undefeated.
No, we're not.
Oh, you're not. Well, I mean, in the league, it's League Cup. We'll just glaze over that. Who gives a shit? But anyway, at the end of the day, it's one of those, isn't it? So, I think that. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Because obviously your midfield is going to be, I'm guessing, very high tempo. I'm not sure if Naby Keita will start and stuff, but he was yesterday, for example, he was shutting down Fabregas very quickly. I thought, and that kind of disrupted our system. I thought, sort of yesterday we saw the examples of what happens when you shut down that deep line playmaker, and I don't know how that will go. But I think because we've played each other now. Well, for you, you'll be baying for blood, obviously, because you lost yesterday. But for us, it's going to be a case of we need to figure out the challenges that we have to deal with, because you found the weaknesses in our system.
I don't know whether I fully agree with that. I think the first 15 minutes of the game, Chelsea came out the blocks and played magnificently. And, the two guys that stood out for me during that first period of the game anyway, from my vantage point of the Kop. So it's not the telly view, it's the guys I can see. Kovacic and Barkley were getting loads and loads of space and being able to turn around and wait for a ball off Fabregas. And they were the adjustments that I think you're talking about. Naby Keita started to be able to close those passing lanes down and then maybe get a little bit of pressure on Fabregas and stuff. The interesting thing for me with the proper Chelsea side, and what maybe I'm taking encouragement from, is that I've seen the way that Arsenal attacked you. I've seen the results that you've got. For the first time in a long time, Louis, and maybe you'll disagree with me, I actually feel like Liverpool's defence is better than Chelsea's. And maybe it was pre-Mourinho the last time I could think that. Like, Liverpool's defence has stepped up massively. What, from your perspective, has the defence been good, or are these just examples? I watched that first half against Arsenal, for example, and bar Aubameyang missing a couple of sitters, it could have been a very different game.
It's one of those. I think so. Marcus Alonso, obviously, for everyone, he was probably the best left wing back in the league. Wing back and left back are completely different positions. I find him a bit suspect. In fact, I find that left-hand side a bit suspect entirely. You know, David Luiz, you know, he's made a couple of mistakes over the past few games. prime examples being Newcastle. He basically allowed them to get straight in, didn't even make a challenge. He still likes to wander. In a back three, that's fine. You've got 2 people covering you. But now we can't really do that because we completely changed our system. I feel that Alonso tucks in too much. Azpilicueta, for me, is the best defender in the world. Don't get me wrong. But yesterday, Mane was tearing him apart. You know, you saw he kept getting.
And is Azpilicueta back playing a right back?
Yeah, and that's that for me. I don't know if
was he left centre half last time.
He was he was right centre half. You had Luiz or Christensen in the middle, and then you had Rudiger on the other side. If Rudiger's fit, I think we'll be okay. David Luiz alongside Rudiger works quite well. It balances out. Rudiger's a proper old-fashioned centre half. Luiz is the very flary Brazilian style player. But the biggest issue is for me is pace. And when we're tucking in, for example, if Alonso's going up and Azpilicueta's going up, which is what Sarri wants, he likes overlapping fullbacks, we're going to be having issues with cover. We turn into a back three. Jorginho does drop a bit deeper sometimes because Kante's turned into a box-to-box midfielder. But for me, I just feel against your front three, when it's on its best, I'm talking with Salah, with Mane, with Firmino, I don't know if we can deal with that. It is the best front three in the league. I don't care what anyone says. I understand people may put Aguero, Sane and Raheem Sterling forward, but for me, I just feel the chemistry between that front three and the way they play, the way they operate, they just bounce off each other so well. And I don't know if we have that yet because Luiz is really struggling in that fullback position.
It's interesting, isn't it, Lou? Because I think when you think of Chelsea and you think of what's happening moving from Conte football to Sarri ball, it's obviously going to have teething problems, and this is what happens when you get a new system and a new manager in place. You get those up weeks and you get those down weeks. It's actually really surprising, really positive for you that Chelsea have still been able to get results, isn't it, while learning this system. The Jorginho one's massively interesting for me because he is he's the perfect pivot for a Sarri side. We saw it at Napoli. He's general on the field. He organises play. He decides which direction Chelsea are going to play football in. And he moves so effortlessly in tight windows that he can start to spray the ball out and move play on. But at times, and we found this under Brendan Rodgers a few years ago, if you nullify the threats in front of them, can it become dull? Is that what we saw against Newcastle?
I don't know. I think that the best example of where it's been dull was West Ham. Newcastle, we managed to break through. It was luck.
Was West Ham the draw? West Ham
was a 0-0. This is the thing. The biggest issue I found with Sarri, and I've tried to explain this to people, at Napoli he was the same. He does not rotate his team very often. Yesterday he rotated because he knew it was such a big game coming up the weekend, whereas PAOK, he played basically the same team against West Ham, and they were knackered. You know, that's where the issue lied. West Ham played well, 2 banks of 4. You know, you had the 2 guys, you know, moving about up front and basically stopping us from going too far forward so we could keep an eye on them. But I think it's a case of, it depends how the other team plays. I think when we play you, it's going to be a very open game of football. You know, it was end-to-end last night. It was a great game to watch for a neutral as well. But I think when you're playing Bournemouth, when you're playing Newcastle, West Ham, they're going to come to get a result. So unless you set up with very defensive style and just counter-attack, I don't think we'll see an issue. I think it's, like I said, we're going to be very open. But yeah, if you nullify
will Chelsea play the way they've been playing so far this season, dominate possession or look to dominate possession at Stamford Bridge? Because is that what the crowd expects?
To be honest, I can't speak for the crowd, but for me, I just look to see if we can get a result. If plan A doesn't work, I want to know what plan B is. Because the thing is, at the minute, I'm not seeing a plan B from Sarri. You know, he's trying to implement a solitary system.
To be fair, he's up 2 points in the league, Louis.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, I'm not going after him for it. What I'm saying is, you know, against West Ham, was there another way we could have tried to attack the game? We didn't see it. But at the same time, he's trying to implement a new system. As we said, you know, it's a new manager, teething problems. Excuse me, teething problems. But I think it's a case of, you know, we're going to see a very open game. I think we will try and keep hold of most of the ball, but I think at the same time, it's going to be hard to do that. Like we're saying, Keita closing down the passing lines or Henderson or whoever it is, you know, it could go either way, to be honest.
How many changes from the midweek game do you expect to see?
So if we go through the team, it'll be Kepa instead of Caballero. It'll be Azpilicueta right back, so he'll stay. Rudiger might come back in. If he doesn't, Luiz will start. Cahill, Alonso at left back.
Cahill play last night.
He started last night, yeah. I reckon, and then it'll be Jorginho. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of changes, basically. The team will go Kepa, Alonso, as I've already said, the back four I've said. Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic, Hazard, Pedro if he's fit, because he said he might be fit for this game, and it'll be Giroud up top, hopefully, because Morata is terrible.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. It's mad that he hasn't settled into this league, and I was so impressed with him when before you bought him. And
yeah,
what is it? Why is this deal not worked out?
I'll put it down to him being a pansy, to be honest. He's just an absolute pansy. He doesn't fight. He doesn't have the aggression that you need to play in the Premier League. For example, yesterday was probably the best he's played this season, I thought, other than the game against Arsenal where he scored. But I look at it as a whole game. Even if you score as a centre forward, it's everything else. Towards the back end of the game yesterday, when he started linking play up, that is what we wanted to see. But the rest of the game, he was ball watching, and he does that all the time. He wasn't making runs. He was simply just walking around, and he just doesn't have the mentality for it. Mm-hmm. And when he sits there and always says, "Oh, I stay to fight. I've done this. I've done that." He doesn't back it up. He's one of those guys. And for me, I don't like that in life in general. When people say, "I'm going to do X, Y, and Z," and they can't back themselves up and give examples of times they have done stuff, you know, it's a case of it's just a waste of time for everybody. The difference between him and Giroud is Giroud, despite being older, not as fast, he's a hell of a lot more physical. And where he may not score as many goals as Morata, in fact, he scored more goals than Morata. Morata scored 3 this calendar year. 3. That's it. You know, during the World Cup, everyone was hating on Giroud for him not scoring goals, but what people clearly didn't see was the way he's bringing Griezmann and Mbappe into play. He does the same with Pedro and Hazard. You know, he holds the ball up, he flicks the ball on, you know, he brings it in from Jorginho and lets others come into play. He fits the system a hell of a lot better. And the thing is, he always gives 100%. He always gives effort. I watch Morata week in, week out, and I just don't feel it's there. He just doesn't look bothered, and it's just winds me up. I don't. But the thing is, there's no one else out there right now who we could go and get, because there's such a shortage of world-class strikers out there, are great strikers. But this Chelsea team, I feel, right now, is one centre-forward short, maybe a central midfielder. If, for example, we're not going to win it this year. If we got Kovacic permanently, you know, we could win the league. It's a very good team, but it's just a centre-forward short. But we couldn't go out there and get an Icardi or whatever, because we simply have a 70 million striker who's we have to play because of the price tag, and we're not going to offload him for the same price. So we're in this circle which is just not healthy for anyone involved.
Okay, so what we need then is Sarri to leave, Jorginho to leave, and Abramovich to leave Chelsea and leave you squandering where you used to be. That would be lovely. Louis, what was your score prediction?
I'm going to say same result as last night. I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea.
Okay. I'll give you mine over on your channel. So do check out 100% Chelsea. I'll be doing a preview over there. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Redmen TV on YouTube. Louis, thanks very much for joining me, mate.
Thank you for having me.
I'm not going to shake your hand, not after yesterday.
I just relaxed myself.
Come on.
Well, fine, it's all right. Yeah, that's
cool.
Fine. We'll do.
And I'll see you next time. Like the video, subscribe to Redmen TV on YouTube, and catch us over on Louis' 100% Chelsea channel. Ta-ra.